Hello again, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Inside IU Volleyball with Coach Sherry Dunbar. I'm Greg Murray, a late week edition of the show this week after a busy week for IU Volleyball. 3 ranked matches in 5 days from Friday to Tuesday. First 2 on the road, Ohio State and number 1 Penn State. Then came home to face rival Purdue and got the first Big Ten victory of the season.
Yeah, exciting. I'm glad we waited till after the Purdue, but even I was so excited about the win, but I really think we've been playing better volleyball over the last couple of weeks. So Ohio State had some succession of a good set and maybe another half set, and just couldn't put together 3 good sets. But then at Penn State, I thought we played some very good volleyball, and I think pushed them to do some things. And so, we felt fairly confident coming into the Purdue match.
And first 2 matches of the weekend on the road, 2 very tough environments, Ohio State and particularly Penn State at Rec Hall, just a very prestigious place in collegiate volleyball. But IU came out with no fear, took the first set in both of those matches, and really said, we're here to play some ball.
Yeah, I was happy. I thought the Penn State, they took it a lot like the Nebraska match, and really came out and attacked them. And I thought, especially with our serve, I thought that took them out of system and got them rattled a little bit. And then, but even in the second, third, and fourth, I thought, in the fourth set we were up 7-0, and I thought in the second set we came back on maybe a 9-3 or 9-4 run. And so I don't think we ever stopped fighting, and I thought we played fairly consistent volleyball throughout the weekend.
Another big highlight throughout the weekend, the 5th kill by Kelsey Marshall against Penn State was her 1,000th of the career, the 2nd of the season, the 2nd Hoosier to do so behind Jordan Haverly this year. How big is it to have 2 different weapons with that much experience out on the floor?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it helps us tremendously, obviously, with our offense. And I think Kelsey, lately especially, has really stepped up her game and wants to be a go-to player for us. And it really allows us to do a lot more if we can set both of our pens and then, open up our middle a little bit. And I just feel like she's really stepping up into her own, especially it's a nice time to do it, right at the very end of our first round of Big Ten before we start the second round.
And then looking to Purdue on Tuesday live on the Big Ten Network, the first nationally televised game for Indiana on the season. Offensively, a 4-set victory over the Boilermakers, but as a team only hit .088 offensively. Not the strongest match for Indiana, but the defense kind of pushed everyone together and just a whole team effort in that victory.
Yeah, I think when you get in those rival matches, you can kind of throw the numbers out, and when you look back, I rewatched the TV version of it, and we made a lot of errors. Yes, they did a very good job blocking us in certain instances, but in the end, when you look at it, we made a lot of errors on our end. But our serving and passing kept us in it, and then I thought, we've really been emphasizing defense in practice, and that has really gone over, transitioned into our matches very well. And I thought Caitlin Hansen probably had her best match of the season and maybe best match of her career, against Purdue.
She had 22 digs, which was a career high for the junior libero, including one tremendous play near the sideline that really just brought
momentum,
University Gym
huge
to their
momentum
feet.
Switch. Yeah, she, and you look back at that, and maybe 1 or 2 were fairly easy digs out of the 22, but really she made some diving plays and very disciplined on defense, I thought, from all the scouting we did. And I think my assistants did a great job. Ryan Sullivan and Paul Koncir did a great job of scouting Purdue, and we really sat down and I think put together a very good scouting report. And I think the kids really took it to heart, and I thought they followed it very, very well.
With the 3 matches in 5 days, you mentioned the assistant coach really stepping up and just helping scout the teams going forward. Is it a relief to you that only 1 match this weekend against Wisconsin?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, but it's still tough. It's kind of weird to play a Tuesday, Friday. The turnarounds are just really hard right now. But it is for everyone. I mean, but yeah, you're trying to scout, the Purdue, they were scouting in the airports, on the planes, coming back from and going to Ohio State, Penn State, and kind of a little bit of the same right now. You just have so many opportunities to look at from how we do film. You could break down 8 matches if you want to, but you kind of have to limit it. And I think we broke down 3 or 4 matches of Wisconsin, but they're very good. They're very talented. Playing on the road is always tough in the Big Ten. So we're going to have to use the Purdue matches momentum and hopefully motivation to play really well on the road.
Preparation for these matches, not only for the players, you, Coach Dunbar, as the head coach, but also the assistant coach. It's all just a team effort to try and get ready for these matches. And for this week's interview, I caught up with Coach Paul Koncir, one of the assistant coaches here at IU, and talked about the season. Caught up with Indiana assistant coach Paul Koncir. Coach, now in your third season at IU, what's your specific role as the assistant coach?
A lot of the training responsibilities and just trying to provide ideas, getting out, looking at different ways to do things and really trying to help Coach Dunbar and just new ideas and new ways and as much opportunity as we can create to help the players.
And during practice, if you watch you, you're always swinging for balls, or your body getting a little tired. You being a former player, you're still getting that workout every day.
My shoulder's about the only thing left good on me anymore, which is good for us. That's if I had to do much more than that, I'd be a wreck. But my shoulder's still good.
How much of a role do you have during each week preparing film to show these players to prepare for matches?
A lot. Between our volunteer assistant, Ryan Sullivan, and I, we do a ton of video work, a ton of scouting. I think we really try to pride ourselves on looking at every facet of the team that we go against and try to be as well prepared as we can. You know, a lot of teams are a little bigger than we are. You know, Penn State we just played, and maybe Nebraska at home.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty physical groups, and you have to know every in and out of their teams to be able to compete with them.
This past weekend was a tough stretch for the team and also for you, just preparing for 3 ranked matches in 5 days. That last one, a nice victory to end that little spurt against Purdue. How much of a confidence booster is that going to be for the team just going forward as we're now about halfway done with the Big Ten season?
Well, we'll see. I thought we gained a lot of confidence when we had Nebraska here and we were up in the 4th set. We ended up losing in 5, but to really play with them throughout the night, to win the first, be ahead in the second, ahead in the 4th, and then go out to Ohio State and Penn State, and especially at Penn State, really push them in their gym, which is a tough place to play. I thought that actually built us up to the Purdue night. We played well, and Purdue really came back at us hard. We had to withstand it. So really, it's to be seen. I think there's a lot that we've done recently that can move us forward, but the players have to really kind of embrace that now. And we've got a stretch where we have Wisconsin on the road, and they're an athletic group, but we're going to go up there, and I think that's the last road victory we've had in the Big Ten a year or two ago. And then Michigan State to start the second round, and we played Michigan really tough at their place. So it's a really interesting time for the team. If they can take this stretch that we put together and really embrace it and move forward, then I think we've kind of turned the corner.
All right, great. Thank you, Coach.
Sure, thank you.
Coach Dunbar, looking ahead to this weekend, Friday night, the lone match. It's also on Big Ten Network on the road against the Wisconsin Badgers. Hoosiers undefeated under the national spotlight on BTN. How does that change the mentality going in, or does it at all, just with the players mentally knowing that they may have a national audience watching them?
No, I don't think it changes. I think most of them know we're on the Big Ten Network, but I'm not even sure all of them know that. Purdue was really exciting, obviously, because that's your rival and playing at home, and we always get such great crowds for that match. But it's just a great place. Wisconsin has great crowds. It's a great environment in their field house where they play, so we're excited about that. But in the end, we're just happy to be on national television to get exposure for our program, because I think, when people look at our record and they say, oh, you're 1-8 or whatever, I don't think they really truly know what we've been doing. And I think we have a very good program. And I think they see that then when you're on national television, how much the kids have improved from the beginning of the season. And hopefully we just keep improving as we go along.
Wisconsin played earlier this week, another midweek match against their travel partner, Minnesota, and dropped a 3-set defeat to the Gophers. And in that match, what did you see on how IU can kind of go along with what Minnesota did and get on top of Wisconsin?
Minnesota served extremely aggressive. I think they had 8 or 9 aces in that match, and they have a lot of jump servers. Minnesota does, so they get after it when they go back to the line. But definitely, that's something that's been a trend for us, is our serving aggressive, and that has to be the mainstay of what we do, no matter what team we play. And then, as we've talked about, we have to stay in system so we can run an offense that we want to run. So. Those 2 things are the priority in practice for the 2 days we have practice, today being the last day before we travel tonight. And we'll continue to work on that, and we'll continue to keep refining things on defense, how we want to play defense against this team. They have a great outside hitter in Ellen Chapman, and they have a very athletic middle and then a lefty on the right side that does a nice job for them. So, we're going to have to step up our game, and we're going to have to play 100%. And, hopefully, like I said, we use the Purdue match and what we've done, not just the Purdue match, but over the last 2 weeks, the improvements we've made, to do some very successful things on the road.
Well, this match Friday evening against the Badgers can be seen live on the Big Ten Network at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 Central Time, as we lose an hour. Or we gain an hour.
We gain an hour, we go, which is nice. We get an extra hour sleep tonight.
8 p.m. Eastern Time, live on Big Ten Network. Kyle Johnson and myself will also have an audio call on IUHoosiers.com. Coach, thank you for joining me on this week. Congratulations on the Purdue win.
Thank you.
Now we look to get a winning streak going.
Thank you.